Let's do a little Q&A. Now that I think of it, I don't think I've ever done a Q&A on YouTube before. I've never done like a proper sit down Q&A, but today's gonna be the first day. That rhymes. But this is gonna be like a sit down juicy Q&A because I do Sunday Q&As on my Instagram story, but I feel like my life has changed so much since I first started my YouTube, and I have changed as a person as well. I feel like when I look back at my old videos, I am so different back then, like than I am now. And I feel like it would be a great little catch-up moment with you guys to do like a little Q&A, and just that we can like catch up on each other's lives. Okay, so on my story yesterday, I put a little Q&A box, and I'm gonna blindly read all of the questions right now. Okay, we have some juicy questions in here. Your height and your age. I am 5'7", and I am 27 years old. Like, I feel old. I turned 27 this year, and I feel like at the beginning of quarantine, I was 25, and now I'm 27. I spent all of 26 in quarantine, which is crazy. But I'm so grateful. Like, I love being 27 because I feel like I know so much more now than I did in my early 20s. Like, the older you get, the better life gets. Like, I swear, it gets better, it gets easier. You start figuring yourself out. You stop caring what people think as you hit your later 20s, and you also just know yourself so much better. Like, you know exactly what you want and like where you're going in life in a way. Like, I feel like I'm on track for that right now. Can you give us an idea of how much you get from brand deals? Okay. This is a very juicy question. I can tell you like a rough estimate of like how much bloggers and influencers make per post. So it really depends on the brand and what they have for budget. I mean, a brand will come and reach out to an influencer with a certain budget in mind. Like, if you have like 300,000, you probably get paid average 3,000 per post for a static post on Instagram. And this is just for Instagram alone. If you have 1,000 followers, or sorry, if you have 100,000 followers, then you're probably getting paid 1,000 per post. If you have 200,000, then you're probably getting paid average 2,000 per post. But it honestly just depends on like your engagement, your audience, your sales conversion, like all this stuff. There's so many factors that go into play. Like, there are some bloggers that have 200,000 followers who have way better engagement than other bloggers because they have like YouTubes or TikToks or stuff like that. So they could have a higher rate than another girl, or another guy. You never really know how much people make, but I mean, bloggers do make a good amount of money. People who work in social media as content creators, digital creators, influencers, they do make a good living on their own, especially YouTubers. How did you build up followers? I built followers just organically over time. The key for building followers is honestly just being authentic, putting out consistent, good content, and then also just maintaining a deep and real connection with your audience. I think that connection is everything. Like, at the end of the day, your audience, they're all real people, and they're admiring you and they're looking up to you, and they are just inspired by everything that you're posting. So I feel like if you want to build a following, just make sure you try to engage with them and really get to know them. And at the end of the day, they're like your friends, you know? This is a community, so it's so important to maintain just like a real loving connection. Are you a Christian? Yes, I am a Christian. I grew up going to church every weekend, and I kind of fell out of my faith for about 10 years, like through high school and college. And then when I got involved in this industry, I really struggled with anxiety, and I had chronic anxiety where I just wasn't sleeping for like weeks and weeks. And it got to a point where I just like had these invasive thoughts. These invasive thoughts were like, you should just end your life. Like, you're just pointless. There's no point to even like be here. And I had these like really crazy thoughts, and I got so scared of myself. Like, I was just terrified of my own thoughts and my brain. I just lived in this cycle of like chaos in my head all day, every day. So one night I was just having a panic attack, and all I knew, the only thing that I had not tried, I'd tried meditation, I had tried going to therapy, like hypnotherapy, and I was just in such a dark place. And I remember one night I was like, God, if you're real, can you please help me? Just take this pressure off of me, like take this anxiety away from me. And I remember in that moment, I couldn't even breathe. Like I was having a full-blown panic attack thinking that I was gonna die. And I remember like peace just like came over me, and like I felt this huge weight lifted off of me, and I just was fine. Like my anxiety was gone. And so I knew in that moment that like God had helped me. And so I basically just decided to like reintroduce God into my life. I don't necessarily believe in like religion and rules and all these things, but I think that I definitely believe in like a personal relationship with God. So yeah, that's like kind of my faith overall. I don't really talk about my faith much on social media. I should talk about it more because I feel like a lot of people could relate, but yeah. How do you keep fit? So in order to keep fit, I love doing like Sammy Clark workouts. I do the Pilates class. I have a subscription. It's been so amazing for just like lengthening and toning my body and keeping me super fit throughout quarantine. I love doing home workouts now because I just have gotten into the swing of doing those every day, just waking up, getting it out of the way, not having to commute to a class, and then just like being able to shower, be home and eat, cook breakfast right after my workout. It's so nice. I also love Megan Roop. And what else do I like? I love, yeah, so Sammy Clark, Megan Roop, the Pilates class, P-Volve. But my main source of exercise, I feel like these days, is walking. Just like going outside and going for like a quick 3-4 mile walk with a podcast. And that's like enough for me for the day. And I feel good. It's really low impact. You don't really raise your cortisol doing that. I try and do that like 3 or 4 times a week, and I've seen a huge difference in my body. And it's so easy. Like anyone can go for a walk for 3 miles, put on a good music. Like I try and set a destination, like a good coffee shop or like a smoothie place, and then just like go there for 2 miles, or even like walk to the beach. Like now I live close to the beach, so I can just like walk to the beach, and that's like 2 miles away, and then I'll just walk back. So that's 4 miles in total, and that'll be my workout for the day. And it's so nice. Just make sure you bring self-protection if you go anywhere alone. So I try and bring friends. If not, I just go alone and like hope for the best, hope I don't get kidnapped. What is the camera that you shoot with? I shoot with a Canon G7X at the moment, and then I also shoot with iPhone. I have the iPhone 12 Max, and this thing is humongous. Like it's literally the size of my head, but I love this thing. It has such a good camera, and I honestly just shoot a lot on this thing. Do you like LA so far? I love LA. I honestly feel like I'm living my best life over here. I didn't think that I would fall in love with it so much. I came out here just temporarily in November thinking that I was only gonna stay for 6 months, and then I ended up putting a deposit down on a place for a year, and that's where I am right now. I just love having access to being outside, being in nature, going on hikes. Like I just went on a hike in Malibu this weekend, and I went alone, and it was so nice and just like peaceful, relaxing. It just brought me back and just reset me. I've been like working like crazy lately. I've been like a complete workaholic, and it's good, but you always need to find that balance. And I think in New York, I didn't have that balance. I just would work all the time, and I didn't really have that access to like nature, peace and quiet, and being outdoors. Also, like having a car is life-changing. Like getting in your car, going to get coffee, going to get groceries, being in charge and in control of like where you drive and not having to rely on public transportation is amazing. Also, the people that I've met in LA, it's been such a blessing. Like moving here was such a big purpose for me. Like God had such a plan for me to move here because of like all of the opportunity that I've had come to me since moving to LA. Like the people that I've met, the relationships that I've built, and just like my work life, my mental health, everything has been so much better. So yeah, I love LA, and I definitely will be going back and forth to New York and LA. That's the plan. I want to be bi-coastal, but for now I definitely love LA, and I can't wait to explore it more. I feel like I haven't even explored it yet because things have been closed. Like the restaurants have been closed, and now everything is open again. So it'll be really fun going into spring and summer when things warm up a little bit. I know I sound crazy when I'm like things should warm up, but it's been like 58 degrees here and so windy, so it's been hard to really like be outside, enjoy outside yet. So hopefully, fingers crossed, the weather will be getting better within the next few weeks, months, I don't even know. What do you eat in a day? So every day kind of varies, but my LA diet has been so healthy. Like, it's actually so easy to eat healthy in LA compared to New York. I would just Postmate everything in New York, but in LA, I've been like trying to cook a little bit more. I've been going to Erewhon. That sounds so basic, but like, I just know the food is good because they list out all of the ingredients in their food, so you can see everything that goes into your food. I've just been like ordering Erewhon or like getting sushi. The sushi is so fresh here. So in the morning, I'll have like an avocado toast before my workout, and then for lunch, I'll have like a smoothie on the go with like maybe some like salad on the side, and then for dinner I'll mainly have like sushi or like a burrito or like a taco salad or just like some grilled chicken, sweet potato, veggies, and then just like snacks throughout the day too. How do you know if the next move you're trying to make is the right move career-wise? Your intuition tells you everything, and that sounds so cheesy and annoying, but every single last introduction to a new chapter career-wise in my life, I've known, because it's hit me in the face. Like, you know, when you have that opportunity that you should either take it or not. And I feel like when things are meant to be, they will happen for you. And if you put it into the universe, and if you put it out there that you're working hard and that you want something so bad, it will manifest in your life. I don't know how to explain it, but it's just like a feeling that you get. If you're not happy in your job and you have something that you're doing on the side, like a hobby or another opportunity, take it, go with it. Even if it's not paying you for a while, if it's something you're passionate about, good things will come out of it and you will eventually start to monetize it. Let's get a little juicy. What is the most fucked up thing about being a blogger? So I guess the number one thing I would say is the fact that a lot of people don't understand the job of being like an influencer, digital creator. I don't like to call myself an influencer. I definitely label myself as an entrepreneur because I do so much more than just post pictures on Instagram. And so do other influencers and bloggers. Like, the amount of work that goes into one single photo, that's like the tip of the iceberg, it's infinite. Like, planning a shoot, executing a location, like styling, communication with brands behind the scenes for months out before the photo's even taken, like careful planning, execution of that. Also the negotiation of partnerships, constant communication with brands on the back end for deliverables and all that type of stuff. The editing process, the amount of time it goes into editing and like picking through hundreds of photos, the creative side of it, but also the whole like business aspect of just like working with brands in general, like executing a partnership. I have so much respect for people in my industry who also have their own brands. Like, a lot of influencers have their own companies that they run. That's a whole nother full-time job. How are you these days? Honestly, never been happier. I feel like everything is just like aligning in my life right now. Knock on wood. I don't know, I just feel like I'm in such a good place right now. Like, moving to LA was so meant to be for me as far as like breaking free from that last chapter of my life. I felt like I was being so held back in New York. I feel like I'm in a good place mentally, physically, relationship wise. I have a really good relationship with myself. I have a great relationship with my career. I'm finally doing things that I love other than just Instagram. Like, I've been investing in other aspects of my life, getting into different types of business behind the scenes that I cannot wait to share with you guys. Everything is really good right now, and I just am so grateful and thankful for everything that's going on. Have you ever dealt with acne in your life? And if yes, what do you do to have flawless skin? I've definitely dealt with acne probably since I was like 12 or 13 years old, and I do a really good job of covering it. But like anyone, I also break out, especially with masks. Wearing makeup with a mask just has not been my friend lately. I currently have breakouts, but I have a really amazing concealer that I am obsessed with. It's from HOURGLASS. I'll link it right here, or I'll link it below after. It is unreal. It's like morgue makeup. Like, you could put it on top of any discoloration, any texture, anything, and it gets rid of it. But that doesn't help solve the acne problem. I honestly use like an exfoliating AHA toner from Ren Skincare. I love that one. And then I also do like laser facials that helps just kind of like get rid of that top layer of skin and just helps you kind of like regenerate all of the cells, resurface your skin and get rid of any like acne, scarring, discoloration, anything like that. Also just like a good skincare routine, like really simple. I use a lot of like CeraVe products, The Ordinary hyaluronic acid, SkinCeuticals vitamin C serum, and just keep it really simple. And I honestly found that less is more, especially after like this whole year of just doing tons of self-care, tons of skincare, all that type of stuff. It's been like my go-to just to do something really simple, because less is always more, and my skin is much happier when I do a lot less. Online dating tips. Have you struggled meeting anyone because of COVID? So I am on online dating apps, but I didn't go on them for probably like 6 months because I was doing heavy self-reflection. I was like, I just can't get involved with anyone right now, because and I was also on like the most selfish schedule you could possibly be in. Like I was filming, I was doing Instagram, I was content creating, I was just waking up, doing my skincare, going about my day, doing everything Jordan. I've been single for 4 years. I've dated, like I've been on a ton of dates, but I just haven't met anyone that I've connected with, and it's not their fault. It's honestly the fact that I just wasn't ready to like give myself and show up for another person. I went back on dating apps, I think like 2 months ago, and I was like, okay, Jordan, just like give it a shot, whatever, like see what happens. And I went on, and you just kind of have to be like super open and down. It's really awkward and it's kind of weird at first, but you never know like what type of connection you're gonna have with someone if you just give it a shot, you know? 9 out of 10 times it's not gonna be like a connection, but maybe 1 out of the connections that you make could be something special, you know? Do you believe in the law of attraction and manifestation? I totally believe in all of that, because I think that you attract whatever energy you're putting out. It just makes sense. It's science. It's always worked for me. If I'm in a positive place in my life where I'm seeking certain things out, both mentally and physically, like they come to me because that's the type of energy that I'm putting out in my relationships, in my work life, in my personal life. You know, if you have goals, hold yourself accountable and say, I'm gonna be the best version of myself because I deserve that, so I can show up for everyone else in my life because I'm showing up for myself first. So like I've always been really determined about like what I want and really sure of what I want in life and like what I want to achieve and who I want to be and who I want to show up as for other people. So I've always just had this kind of mentality, like this is what I'm gonna be. I think that when you have that mentality, it's something you have to practice, like staying true to that mentality every day. Are there any influencers that you don't like? Of course there are influencers that make me feel bad about myself. I wouldn't say that I don't like them, but there are a lot of influencers that don't make me feel good, that don't have that like positive energy on social media that I look up to, that makes me feel good when I look at their stories or when I look at their posts. It doesn't make me feel like, oh wow, like I aspire to be someone like that, you know? But there's not someone that I don't like. There are certain influencers that I've met in person that I've been really disappointed and like, wow, this is how she is, or that's really disappointing. Protect yourself, like who you hang out with. You have to be so careful about who you surround yourself with, because some people don't see the industry the same way that you do. Like I see it as like a community, a business, an outlet for creativity, and a lot of people see it as like self-promotion. So it's different for everyone, you know? I'm not calling anyone out in this video, but there are certain influencers that I don't necessarily like get along with on the same mental level, and also like the same like purpose behind what we do, you know? Have you ever struggled with body image? Do you eat intuitively? I have definitely struggled with body image. I feel like I've made a few videos about this and talked about this on my stories a few times. I made a video about how I've struggled with body image in the past, like just having the job that I've had. And what's really helped me overcome dealing with just anxiety about my body is eating intuitively. And as hard as that sounds, it has been such a journey for me, like learning how to eat intuitively and listening to my body when I eat. So I do not diet. I eat literally everything now, but I just eat it in moderation, knowing that I can have more later and just have a little bit at a time and fix my craving. Before, I used to restrict so much. I tried vegan, keto, paleo, F factor, like low carb, everything, and those do not work because it's just going to upset your body and like just take everything out of its natural cycle. Like, I think that restricting your body is the worst thing that you can do because your body essentially will go into shock. So mentally, I went into shock, and physically. So my body just shut down. I stopped being able to digest things properly, and my hormones were all whack. I was binge eating because I was restricting, and it just was not good. So I got to a place one day where I was like, you know what? I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm not going to live my life like this. And I started eating intuitively, and it was a journey. Like, I started doing that by reintroducing carbs back into my diet. So in the morning I would have carbs. I would have like bread, a piece of toast, and then I would have 1 piece of bread per day. And then I built upon that over the course of a few years, where I would have like oatmeal and quinoa and sweet potato and french fries, and then it got to like more bread, you know. And now I realized that these things didn't upset my body because I was having a proper portion of them. So these things are not bad. It's just all about having them in moderation. And if you're living a healthy lifestyle and you're not over consuming, then these things will not affect your body. So that's kind of what I've learned, but it's taken years to overcome. It's easier said than done. It's nothing, everyone's on their own journey with food, but that's like how I overcame things. And if you ever have any problems or are struggling with like any sort of like eating habits and stuff like that, you can always DM me and talk to me about it, because I've gone through it. Now I feel like I'm at a really healthy point where I'm just eating intuitively. I'm not over working out. I'm working out when my body wants it. I'm not forcing myself, and I feel really good. And I feel like even that mentality alone of just like allowing myself to feel and do, and allow myself to feel and do as like my mind is telling me, has helped regulate my, almost like my weight in a way. Because it's like when you're stressing yourself out saying you can't do something, or you're stressing yourself out saying like I need to work out, and you overwork out, then your body is going to go into shock. Your body's going to be like, what the heck are you doing to me? Like, this is awful. So that was really helpful, just like learning how to listen to my body and like be intuitive about everything. Things you do to protect your energy. This is my biggest saying. I always say protect your energy at all costs. Like, this is my favorite saying of all time. And have boundaries with people, because boundaries are literally everything. You have to protect your energy and what you have and your mindset, because we are way more susceptible to people that we're around and the energy that we consume and our intake, more so than we could ever even imagine. So think about this right now. Do you have a person in your life, it could be a friend, family member, that you get anxiety when their name pops up on your phone? Because I've had a few people like that in my life, and you know what? It didn't end up well. If you are a positive person, if you're trying to manifest good things in your life, you cannot have negative people, complaining people, people who are stuck, unsure of themselves, just feeling lost in their life, hanging around you. I know it sounds messed up, but like, those people will figure it out. I had to figure it out all by myself. You can't have anyone else help you figure out who you are in life except for yourself. So if you have people who are negative, who are feeding off of you in a negative way, draining your energy, think about when you hang out with certain people. When you leave that hangout, do you feel energized, refreshed, amazing, like, wow, that was so amazing, I could hang out with that person again tomorrow? Or do you feel like, wow, I need to go take a nap, I feel drained, like I can't talk to anyone else for the rest of the day, like that was heavy, or I just don't even like know, I just feel confused, I feel brain fog? Like, all of these things will tell you what type of energy that person is giving off, whether they're even being negative or not. Like, that person will either make you feel good or make you feel like chaotic and bad and negative. I know, like, if I hang out with someone and they're like complaining or negative and all this stuff for like a few hours straight and I leave the hangout, I literally can't function for the rest of the day. I'm like, I don't even know where to begin. I feel like I absorbed that energy. It takes me a minute to digest it. When I am around people, I am like a sponge to people's energy. So I will feel that. I will hold on to that energy until I get rid of it. I've really started to pay attention to, like, when I hang out with people, how I feel after. Even if it's on social media and your intake in general, whether it's a physical interaction with someone or like a virtual interaction with someone, like, pay attention to how you feel after watching certain people's stories, after you have been texting with someone, after a phone call, like, or even looking at someone's profile on TikTok or Instagram or YouTube. Like, how do you feel? Do you feel good or do you feel bad? So pay attention to that. Protecting your energy is the most important thing that you can do in this life. And that goes for surrounding yourself with people who are positive, uplifting, just great humans that are teaching you, uplifting you, that you're uplifting them, and there's no energy draining. Are you dating anyone? I am single right now. I've been single, I've been dating on and off for like the past few years, but last year I took a complete break. I didn't talk to anyone. I've been literally just me, myself, and I, and it's been the best year of my life. But I am at a point, I feel like, where I am definitely ready to show up for someone. I think that, like, until you can show up for yourself and be confident in yourself, and you're never going to be 100% confident, but until you're at a place where you feel like you can dedicate time and be a little selfless and show up truly for someone else in a relationship, then you shouldn't be in a relationship. But I'm at a point now where I feel like I could do that. I'm definitely ready for, like, if that right person comes along. I think whatever's meant to be will happen, and I think if it's the right person, then they will just fit into my life perfectly, you know, and it'll make sense, you know. And I don't believe in forcing anything. I don't believe in searching, just like forcing things and dating anyone you can just so that you can find the one. I honestly am like the type of girl that like sits back and just waits and like sees if something good happens. But yeah, I'm pretty happy right now with where things are at, and I'm looking forward to anything good that comes along, you know what I mean? So yeah, all things are good right now, so I'm really excited where I'm at and where things are at. How did you become confident? My number one tip for confidence, this is the last question I'm going to answer, but my number one tip for confidence is just showing up for yourself every single day, just completing little tasks that make you feel like you accomplish little things, like staying true to your word every single day and overcoming these little tasks. It builds confidence. It's all baby steps. So just showing up for yourself and proving that you are capable of doing things. I feel like that's like the number one thing for building confidence over time. Okay, so my camera just died and I don't want to go get the charger downstairs, so I'm just gonna sign off here. I hope you enjoyed this little catch-up Q&A. I hope it was helpful. It was short and to the point, but I thought it was fun. We could just do a little like catch up and everything. I definitely want to do another one soon. Let me know if you have any more questions or if you related to anything that I said below. I'm gonna link the videos that I talked about. Honestly, I've been talking for like 2 hours. I've cut down this video like probably 90% of what I've actually talked about in the past like hour. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. It was a little juicy, it was a little serious, it was a little fun. But I'm gonna do more of these soon. And my socials are linked below. Instagram is Jordan Sloan, TikTok is Jordan Sloan, Pinterest it's Jordan Sloan, I think. Back to the whole manifestation talk, go follow me on Pinterest because Pinterest is my number one best friend for manifestation. So yeah, I had so much fun doing this and I cannot wait to, I'm just gonna go edit it right now actually, and then I'm gonna eat some dinner and go to bed. Okay, bye, love you.